It's time for Howlers and Growlers. A weekly show from our Arizona Coyotes writing pack, bringing you the latest news, rumors, trades, player grades, prospects, and much more. From training camp to the playoffs, from draft day to the trade deadline, our team covers everything ice hockey in the hot desert. So sit back, grab your favorite cold beverage, and get ready for Howlers and Growlers.
Welcome to Howlers and Growlers. I am your host, Pat Brown, and we are thrilled to have you here for another show. Joining me, as always, my Coyotes line mate at the Hockey Writers, Haynes Evans. Haynes, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for that great pronunciation of my name of Haynes Evans. I love the pause in between. I'm doing good, though. I'm just messing with you. I'm doing good, though, Pat. I hope you're doing well.
Honestly, I actually feel like there may have been a glitch in my, because I did not hesitate on this side.
Really?
So
I think it may have been
perhaps my audio glitched a little bit because I did not hesitate here. But anyways, we could always go with the old Haynes Evans. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, I like that.
And what a treat we have for you today. Also joining us from the Hockey Writers, credentialed New Jersey Devils reporter, also a regular panelist on Chicks and Sticks, and you should check out their show, and my very good friend, of course, Kristy Flannery. Kristy, thanks for joining us. How you doing?
Oh, so happy to be here. This is great. I even got a beer for the occasion.
Nice. So, you're already in the spirit of things. Love it. What are you rocking over there?
Hogarden, which is comparable to a blue moon for those who don't know, like myself, who didn't know about 20 minutes ago.
Hey, all that matters is it's beer. And we don't even have to have beer here because Haynes, what are you rocking?
I
didn't mean anything by that. Man,
what a great start for Haynes for this episode. It must be the shirt this one. You must not like the shirt this episode or something.
Coming in hot.
I need anybody to comment down below if they like this shirt. No, I'm rocking a seltzer. Not a beer. I am rocking a Bud Light seltzer. I'm rocking a strawberry Bud Light seltzer, but I put some lemon juice in it, so it's a strawberry lemonade Bud Light
Cheers.
seltzer.
That sounds phenomenal. And there was absolutely no knocking on not. I was just correcting myself.
I know.
So I had to bust into the holiday stock because I don't have any other local brews. So Costco was running a heck of a deal, and I was able to pick up one of my favorite beers of all time, which is Delirium. You guys have never had it. Highly recommend it. It's not only delicious, but it's quite potent at 10%. So good stuff. So with that said, let's talk some hockey, shall we? We got a lot to talk about. And hey, guess what? Breaking news, the Coyotes won a game. How exciting. Full disclosure, we are recording this Wednesday evening, so the Coyotes have yet to even drop the puck tonight, just as a heads up. So take everything with a grain of salt, depending on tonight's performance. However, 5-4 win over the Kraken in a wild game. A game started by Karel Vejmelka, and then the last 59 minutes and 1 second were played by Scott Wedgewood after Vejmelka gave up 2 goals in 59 seconds. Neither one really his fault, kind of defensive breakdowns, but nonetheless, not a very good start. You got to like what you saw out of the team. They rallied. They came back from a 2-goal deficit twice. And then what seemed like a potential backbreaker in the third period was Seattle tying the game with 1:18 left. 13 seconds later, Lawson Krause comes in, ends up scoring the game-winning goal. Shocked everybody. The place went bananas. It was just super cool to be there and see that type of excitement over a team that had yet to win a game. So a lot of exciting stuff. Really excited that they won a game. And we're going to start with Haynes first because you've been on this winless journey right there next to me. So tell me, how does this win feel and what do you take from it?
It's great. I mean, you lose 11 games, anything's nice after 11 straight losses. So it was great. I mean, you and me, we talked about Pat like 2 days after it happened. We had called and we had talked about it, and just Lawson Krause's reaction to the goal, the fans' reaction to the goal. just the overall excitement to finally at least be in the win column and not be the only winless team was huge. And it's a huge momentum boost for this team going forward because it's something to build off now. There's sometimes when you're losing a lot of games in a row, like 11, it's hard to try to build off something because you don't know what you did right to then, further it. So to be able to get a win is good for the team. They're going to really be able to use that hopefully to their advantage tonight against Minnesota, but nevertheless, just happy to see them in there and hopefully they can build on and give them a couple more wins.
And I'm going to soapbox it for 20 seconds, Kristy, and then I want to get your thoughts on it. But anybody who tells me that this team is intentionally trying to tank, even all the way up to GM Bill Armstrong. Let me tell you a quick story. When I was walking to the press conference, the media room for the post-game press conference, Bill Armstrong was behind me, high-fiving every arena worker he could see. He was so excited for that win. He was so proud of the team. And honestly, it was really cool to see. So I don't want to hear anybody out there saying the team is intentionally taking. Quite the opposite. Okay, everybody knows they're rebuilding, but there's no doubt that this team's putting in the effort at least to try to get the wins. So I just had to be on a soapbox. Now, Kristy, tell us, especially as a New Jersey Devils beat reporter, kind of looking at what's happening here in the desert, 10-1 to start the season. What do you take away from the Coyotes win over the Kraken?
I just feel like it was a win. It was just a resilient effort by the boys. There's certain ways to win a game. And when you have to keep fighting and clawing your way for that victory, I just feel like it's so much sweeter in the end. And I do agree. You might sit down and be like, oh, the team's tanking. No, they're not. This is a bunch of competitive athletes. They are going to try, they're not going to just skate around the ice. It's just not, I don't know. I agree with you. I never liked that attitude. Oh yeah, they're just kind of not trying. Yes, they are. Definitely. They are trying. But yeah, I thought it was a great effort. At least there was something, it took a long time for them to get that win. Wedgewood, my boy, killing it. We'll wait and we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
It was a great win by the team.
That was a nice little segue. I didn't even ask you to do that. That was a nice little segue, but we do want to jump into your wheelhouse for a minute here because as I mentioned, Vejmelka got pulled 59 seconds in. Here comes Scott Wedgewood, recently claimed off of waivers from the New Jersey Devils, still in his New Jersey Devil pad and helmet because he didn't have Coyotes branded stuff yet. And a little bit of trivia for those watching. And Kristy, I don't know if you know this or not.
I know this.
Maybe you do.
I know this.
So Scott Wedgewood, if you watching at home or listening, remember that name. You should, because he was already with the Coyotes once. Started 17 games with them in the 2017-2018 season. Went 5-9-4, .893 save percentage, 3.45 goals allowed average, but goals against average. But what is really important about our boy Scott Wedgewood is the fact that on October 30th, 2017, he was in net when the Coyotes stopped an 11-game winless streak to start the season. So just absolutely bizarre that he came in and got the win almost 4 years later to the day, a little bit off, but almost to the day, and managed to help the Coyotes get their first win of the year. So, Kristy, you've had an opportunity to cover Wedgewood this year a little bit before he was placed on waivers. So what are your overall thoughts on the netminder, his performance, and what he could do potentially here in Arizona?
So what I don't think people realize about him is he has a Stanley Cup ring. People forget because Vasilevsky is Vasilevsky that there's other goaltenders that are part of Tampa Bay, and he was one of them. The problem in New Jersey was when healthy, we have Blackwood and Bernier. So there was really no place for him on this team except for the AHL. I personally don't think he's an AHL caliber player. I don't know if I'd go as far as say he's a starter, but he can definitely steal a game. And he didn't win this season when he started in New Jersey, but I feel like that was more of the defense in front of him. It really wasn't it had nothing to do with him and his play. It was more of just everybody else on the team. But I think you guys you're getting a solid goaltender. And is he named the hero of Arizona yet? Or are you guys planning on doing that later on this season?
Oh, he's definitely already named the hero.
There's a parade upcoming. Don't worry. They have a national
I feel like
holiday.
you guys need, I feel like you need that. like Scott Wedgewood Wednesday or something like that. Do a parade, spot like the Stanley Cup ring.
Victory parades next week. I love it. I love it. Literally victory. One victory. That parade.
Hey, that's when you're down 10. That's all you need.
Oh, that's good stuff. Haynes, over to you. You know, Kristy says it in jest, but it has been kind of floating around. Scott Wedgewood, the savior of the Arizona Coyotes. You know, Coyotes in a tough spot. Their goaltending situation was shaky to begin with, and then Hutton goes down. Vejmelka performed admirably, but just kind of using him a bit too much. Wedgewood comes in. So, Haynes, your thoughts on what Wedgewood has done and what he brings to this team?
You know, before I get into it, I actually had 2 key points off that. First one was the coincidence of him 4 years ago breaking the 11-game win streak to now. Both those teams had new first-year head coaches for the Coyotes. Tocchet was in his first year in Arizona 4 years ago when we broke the 11-game, and Torini was the new head coach this year in Arizona. He breaks it. Just strange coincidence that panned out as it did. But I wanted to get one Kristy said, because you were talking about how Scott Wedgewood really never had his shot up in New Jersey playing behind Bernier and Blackwood. And I was a guest on a podcast earlier this morning, and we had talked about Scott Wedgewood and what that kind of veteran leadership he brings. And, you know, I kind of brought in, you know, this guy has learned from the best. He played behind Brodeur. He played behind Corey Schneider. He played behind Keith Kincaid. This guy really didn't get his shot because of who he played behind, but he learned so much and it's transitioned so well. And to see him come back to Arizona now and now have a shot to kind of run with it again and, you know, get maybe 20 games in, 25 games, depending on me they play him in. Just, I'm so happy for him to have him back here. He's such a nice guy. I assume you know that, having him in New Jersey. He's such a nice guy who's just, he loves the game and he wants to keep playing. And Arizona's going to give him the best shot. And we're going to make sure that we hopefully bring him, some wins.
I gotta say,
he's easy to root for.
He's a pretty, no, you're good. He's a pretty funny guy too. He had a few good jokes about his journey back to Arizona, and whoever's going to be writing his book is going to have a heck of a time writing it. And it was good. It was funny. So we couldn't be happier for him. I believe Vejmelka is planned to start against Minnesota in tonight's game. So we will see how that pans out in hindsight, but really good stuff. And, you know, everybody was super excited to see the team get the win. So now let's talk about, I know this is rare, but a skater as opposed to a goalie, because we haven't talked about skaters very much. But Shayne Gostisbehere, is he reviving his career right now? You know, Bill Armstrong preached before the season he's assembled a team of hungry players, aka bunch of older players who are no longer needed where they are. But you know how that pans out. There's usually one that can separate themselves, and that seems like it might be Gostisbehere this year. 1 goal, 8 assists, 9 points in 12 games. He's performing well, definitely a team leader. So Haynes, we'll go to you. We'll start with you this time. Is Shayne Gostisbehere reviving his career with the Coyotes?
You know, he totally looks to be doing just that. I don't want to honestly make the assumption. I've had plenty of words in the last few weeks about calling games go wrong for me. So I don't want to throw my hat in the ring and say that he's fully revived his career, but he's definitely shown tremendous progress in Arizona. He's shown that he's turning his game around to that point where he once was such a high prized player in Philadelphia. So he's definitely taken that leadership role that you were pointing out, Pat. And, you know, he's definitely been one of your top guys. And, you know, with guys like Jacob Chychrun, your top defenseman, struggling, Gostisbehere's really taken that workload off of him and, you know, allowed Chychrun not to feel like he's the only guy out there and everything relies on him. So he's definitely been turning around and, you know, it's good for him. If he gets moved to the deadline, he's definitely proven a case right now that he's turning it around right here.
Solid call out with Chychrun too, who, you know, it's been well documented how much he's been struggling. Felt good for him that he got an assist, at least in the last game against the Kraken. So he got on the board, but that's a great point, Haynes, about Gostisbehere providing him a little relief. Kristy, you know, former East Coast guy, and now he's out here in the desert. Your thoughts on Gostisbehere, what he's done this year? Is he in a renaissance of sorts?
I feel like it's almost too early to tell.
Sure.
But what I will say is that having the 9 points in 12 games, this is a team where he's not going to have the support that he did in Philadelphia. Yeah. So if he is able to keep this going, he is reviving his career, because it's not like he's doing it and you could be like, oh, well, Crosby's his line mate or Giroux's, like, no, he's doing this and he's doing it by himself. So
Great.
I think that it's a great thing for him. And sometimes a player just needs to change the scenery.
Yep. Were you happy to get him out of the metropolitan area there?
I would take him in a heartbeat over having Ryan Ellis in a Flyers jersey. Let's swap those two out.
Wow. Strong feelings from Kristy on that. I like
really,
it. Well
really
done.
passionate about Ryan Ellis coming to the Metro.
That's fantastic. That's good stuff and good perspective, guys. Thanks. Let's take a quick time out. Toss us a like, hit subscribe, be sure to comment. Thanks for watching. Make sure you check out all the other shows on the Hockey Writers Network. We've got Saber Scoop, we've got the Hockey Writers Grind Line, Chicks and Sticks, Prospects Corner, Union Junction, What's Crackin', Blackhawks Banter. It just keeps going on and on and on. Sign up for a morning newsletter, Morning Skate. Kristy writes for that as well. Follow us on Twitter at Howlers THW. Follow Kristy on Twitter at Instilettos Blog. And shoot us a comment down below. We'd love to talk about it next week on the show. So thanks again for watching. We just love the fact that you join us every week and really like bringing you everything Coyotes hockey. So, all right. Our bills are paid. The Zoom is still recording, so we live to see another week. And let's talk rumor mill, and not about a person. Everybody's favorite topic here in the Valley, the arena deal. What is going on with the arena deal in Phoenix? Because for those who have been under a rock for the last 3 months, long convoluted story short, where we're at, the Coyotes have placed a bid on a piece of land in Tempe, the only sports group to do that. Everybody's happy. Looks like, hey, maybe the team will have a home, especially since they're getting evicted from Gila River after this season. That still needs to be resolved, because even if they build a new arena, guess what? That's not happening in 6 months. So that needs to be resolved. But as promising as it looked, and Coyotes fans are just used to this at this point, Phoenix Sky Harbor now has an issue with it. Their issue is that it comes too close to the two busiest runways. That a lot of their plans for the mixed use development, as they call it, are not feasible because the residential with the airport approach just isn't feasible. So there's a lot of back and forth, and it really just seems like, here we go again. You know, every time it seems like there's a little promise, little hope that the Coyotes are going to find a new home and stay here in the Valley. There's always a wrench thrown into it. So with that said, Haynes, we're going to start with you. Your thoughts on the Coyotes. Will they stay? Will they go? Their arena deal. How's it panning out? How's it look for them?
You know, in the beginning, when they first brought it up, it was kind of a sigh of relief for all of us. You know, dude, we finally thought the team finally has a real plan in place. Images were released. They were privately going to fund this arena themselves.
Yep.
Morello had his own construction business. Was going to build it.
Yep.
I mean, everything that could have gone right for it was going to go right for it.
Oh, by the way, sports betting is legal in Arizona.
Yes.
Another huge, all the teams have partnerships. That's, I can't overstate the importance of that. And that's why I believe they'll stay. Anyway, sorry.
Yes, no, I completely agree with you real fast. I think Morello, as long as he can legally bet in Arizona on games, the team will not leave Arizona, because Morello's not going to let it happen.
Yep.
But, you know, we had that optimism, and like you said, it almost feels like every time something good comes out, a wrench gets thrown in. I take it back. I think 3 or 4 years ago, the arena deal that was supposed to be put in place with Arizona State, they had the renderings come up. Arizona State backed out of it last second. They had all these plans put into place. Arizona State pulled out of the deal. And, you know, it's starting to be a little alarming, you know, just with the fact that the Coyotes of right now don't have somewhere to go at the end of the season. And that creates a little bit of panic.
Yep.
But something I want to throw in there real fast, and I think it's true. I kind of fact checked it. I hope it's true. If not, then I don't want to offend the Los Angeles Rams fans in the NFL. But I read something yesterday that the Los Angeles Rams football stadium, SoFi, who I think the Chargers play at as well, one of the busiest airports in the world, I'm pretty sure, flies directly over SoFi Stadium. And so I understand where Sky Harbor's coming from, but if the Rams seem to make it work, and I mean, could it not work in Arizona as well? Yeah.
So first of all, you can offend the Los Angeles Rams all you want. Nobody this show cares.
Okay.
Although Matt Stafford, you are my boy, Blue. just because I'm sure he's watching. So
He tunes in every week.
if there's a comment next week from Matthew S, I will retire. Anyways, so one more thing to call out, Kristy, before I jump to you, because Haynes, I think you bring up a really, really good point. The city of Phoenix owns Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. Back when the Cardinals built their new stadium, they went to the same kind of thing. And there are some theories out there. I don't mean to be pushing rumors, but there are some theories out there that basically it's the city of Phoenix objecting because they've already got 2 arenas where they can book events, 2 arenas that compete against each other. And they don't want a premier entertainment district that basically, front office is described as, they picture it as like the Milwaukee Bucks district, that type of thing. And that's the vision. And so some theories are out there that maybe it's not so much the airport as it is the city hiding behind the facade of the airport in terms of putting these objections up. Don't ask me. I just work here, but figured I would float that little conspiracy out there and let everybody chew on that for a week. That said, Kristy, we do not expect you to be completely in tune with Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport and all of their runway approaches and everything else. So I'll frame this up a little bit differently for you. What's your take overall on, can hockey be successful in Arizona? We all know they talk about moving to Houston. They talk about moving to Quebec City. That chatter seemingly happens every year.
Yeah.
Can hockey stay here in the desert? Can it stay here? Can it succeed?
So one, I understand why you guys drink beer because Coyotes fans have been through like the ringer over the years.
Yeah.
But for me, I feel like the only thing that makes me question it a little bit is now the desert has Vegas. And I think that even if Arizona wins a cup, they will never be Vegas as far as the people and just the production and the whole show that comes with the game. So that's kind of my only concern. Is now you're battling Vegas. And just to make sorry, I have to go on a rant for 2 seconds.
Do it.
I am so mad that Coyotes are not in the same division as Vegas. Like there was your rivalry and you took it away.
Oh, hands down.
Ridiculous.
That's, Kristy, that's such a good call out.
Ridiculous.
Arizona's move to the Central also has fueled a lot of speculation about them leaving for potentially Houston or Quebec City, because regionally speaking, that makes a lot more sense. So we'll see. But I mean, your Vegas call out is so perfect. Hockey is succeeding in the desert there. I think what I'll leave us with is I have been told by many, many, many reliable people close to the game that basically as long as Gary Bettman is commissioner, the Coyotes will not leave Phoenix.
All right.
The Coyotes will not leave Arizona because Gary Bettman, this has been his pet project from the beginning. And he will not stand to see them leave. So, final thoughts. Those of you watching, I don't think you have anything to worry about because you've got a billionaire owner with his own construction company. So even though I'm sure the math doesn't work out this way, basically he's paying himself to build the arena if they can get this deal through. And he's not hurting for money. So I think they're good. But really, really good perspective, guys. Appreciate it. And we'll see how it goes. I for one, selfishly really hope they stay, but good stuff.
So wait, are there actually fans that are rooting for Gary Bettman?
Not in that
sense.
sense.
I don't boo him. I know most fans do. I have never once had Gary Bettman ever come on and booed him. I like him for what he's done.
Hey, we got one.
Well, I thought it was funny. Like, honestly, Kristy, I love that you said that. I thought it was funny, like Vegas fans booed him. It's like, are you serious? You're serious. You're booing the man who brought hockey to your city. Like some of those, but it's just tradition, right? It's just tradition.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
So
I guess you don't have to, but
I mean, Red Wings fans will boo him
for you.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, so it's not really a story because I didn't meet him personally, but back when Shane Doan's number was retired, the year they retired in Arizona, Gary Bettman was there to speak on his behalf. And at the beginning, before he went on, I'm pretty sure a lot of fans actually cheered him on, and his remarks were, "I've always enjoyed coming to the city of Arizona." He literally said, "I've always enjoyed coming to the city of Arizona."
Well, it's not Detroit and New Jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
He never once ever received like serious hate in Arizona. But I mean, why would you? I mean, he's done everything in his mind, considering he
Yeah.
owned the team to keep
Yeah.
them where they are.
This team was bankrupt.
This is
the great one couldn't save this team, but yet Gary Bettman somehow has.
It's the Arizona Bettmans. That's what we are. We're the Arizona Bettmans.
Oh, please, let's not make that a thing. Let's not make that a thing.
No hashtag.
I can already see the
Arizona
Twitter
Bettmans.
post tomorrow. I love it. Awesome. Good stuff. Now let's talk about making assumptions that the Coyotes stay here for years to come. Our second weekly feature of Tankathon 2021-22. Arizona gunning pretty hard for that number 1 overall draft pick, or at least the best chances to earn it, to win it. And so we're going to feature, obviously last week we featured Shayne Wright. This week we're going to feature a name that I can't pronounce, but I'm going to try anyways. And that name is Ivan Miroshnichenko. And I practiced that like 15 times before we started recording. So if that's wrong, well, it was a heck of a try to get it right. So Miroshnichenko, a winger, big winger, 6'1", 185 pounds, great skater, great shot. Couple projected by a lot of folks right now to be top 2, top 3, top 5, right around in there. And let's say he had 53 points in 25 games in the Russian U16 league, won with Team Russia the 2021-22 Gretzky Cup gold medal, and World Juniors under U18 silver medal in 2020-21. So, good track record of success, still really young, going to be draft eligible coming up in the upcoming entry draft, and definite top 2, top 3, top 4 potential. So somebody to take a look at. Your thoughts on, everybody kind of daydreams about Shayne Wright, but what about our friend Miroshnichenko? And I'm going to keep saying that because I'm really proud of being able to say that last name. Haynes, we'll start with you.
Yeah. First off, I'm not going to take an attempt at his name because I'm not going to pronounce it right. So sorry to him. I am not going to try to pronounce your name. I will also say that I am not Matthew. I know he's probably done a lot more look being the prospect guru into him than I have. But from the few bits I've heard from this kid is he's a very tall, very physical, but very effective two-way player who, if it's not Shayne Wright, is just as good of a player as you can get in the draft. I mean, people have to realize that it's not Shayne Wright or bust this year in the draft. If you don't get the first pick, there's so many exciting names in the draft this year. So, and he's one of them, along with Matthew Savoy. I'm pretty sure Connor Geeky's in there. I mean, you have so many people that are available, and he's one of those guys that he stands out to you. And, he's definitely someone that I think the Coyotes will keep on the radar, whether they get the first pick or not. I think he's someone that's always going to be on the radar. They're going to always keep tabs on.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, I agree. This isn't a draft kind of like previous years, even. It's not a draft where there's a generational talent to clamor over, right? We're not seeing that in this upcoming year. And if you don't get Shayne Wright, and that's not to say maybe Armstrong or someone doesn't deal up for him anyway, but if you don't get Shayne Wright, there's plenty of other options out there, and Miroshnichenko is one of them. So, Kristy, your thoughts on the young Russian and potential to go, top 3, top 4, top 5?
I don't like looking at players as top 3, top 4, top 5, because one thing I keep going back to is Lundqvist was selected at 205. Mm-hmm. So there's always that gem that you can find later on. So I don't really put a lot of stock into we need the first or we need the second or we need the third. Like I don't buy it. So I think they'd be fine with the Russian. That I'm not going to pronounce his name either. Yeah,
I'm going to get it wrong. I'm going to get the name wrong. But to your point, Datsuk, I think, was like 248th or 213th. Or it's all about those proverbial diamonds in the rough. They're the ones that can make difference on the team. But
Liam Kirk.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Could be an NHL big name guy for the Coyotes, and he was drafted in the 7th round.
Yeah, so I don't put that much stock into it.
British sensation, Liam Kirk. I love it.
That's
love
player.
it. I can't wait. I can't wait till he gets the call up. I can't wait to see him.
Same here.
Random shout out, Kristy. You can too, to Chris. Hi, Chris, because hopefully he's listening. But it's good stuff. So, all right, we got one more thing to talk about. We're gonna go down on the farm and talk about somebody who's already in the Coyote system, in that one Dylan Guenther. Because let me boil down to you what he's done with the Edmonton Oil Kings in the WHL to this point. This year, he's got 15 points in 14 games. He was the rookie of the year, 2019, I believe it was, 59 points in 58 games that season. And a stat that I love, even though it wasn't even juniors, it was U15 prep, but come on, I probably couldn't do this in that league if I played them now. 103 points for Northern Alberta in 2017-2018. 103 points. That's 58 goals and 47 assists in 30 games. I mean, again, I get it, but it's just a fun stat to read off. So, Kristy, going to start with you on this one. Dylan Guenther, projected by many, who, by the way, he went number 9 overall this past draft, projected by many to be on the Coyotes very, very soon. Your thoughts on the lad?
He might give Wedgewood a run for his money as savior of the Coyotes. Sounds like this kid's sounds like this kid's everything that the Coyotes want and or need. So I am here for it.
I love it. It's Wedgewood. Scott better be looking over his shoulder because Dylan's coming for him.
He's coming for him.
That's well done. Haynes, you get the last word on this. You get the last word on the show. What have you seen out of Dylan Guenther this year?
I mean, is there anything negative we can say about him?
No,
I mean,
nope.
I'm being serious. There's not. I mean, first off, Scott Wedgewood's not losing his parade. It's already been set. He's got
at least he has a ring. This kid has a way to go.
But oh gosh.
Well done.
There is
Cheers.
nothing negative I could ever say about Dylan Guenther's game. He came into preseason and was the rookie tournament preseason and was insane. I mean, this kid was getting callback after callback, playing a game, immediately being told he was back on the lineup for the next following game. I mean, this guy was not missing a spot. He was not being told, we're going to sit you for a game. We're going to keep playing you because you're producing.
Yep.
And we've had a lot of good guys. Keller's one of those guys who's still blossoming, who is one of our big guys, but never have we had a guy generally that I can think of, besides maybe Shane Dunn, who was drafted by Winnipeg and the original Jets, have we had a guy as up to Dylan Guenther's skill level that has that explosive of a game that is willing to completely change the course of a game like that and can take over a game. So I'm just be over the moon about the kid.
Yeah. It's when you consider what Bill Armstrong did and the situation he inherited when he took over the team in September of 2020 before last season. And the team had been hit with a bunch of sanctions because of former GM Chaika. And, you know, we can talk a long time about whether those sanctions were merited for working a few kids out early, but that's neither here nor there. They broke the rules. They lost a first round draft pick. Armstrong comes in, deals OEL and Garland to Vancouver, gets a bunch of players plus the centerpiece, their first round pick. Number 9 overall, they draft Guenther. Guenther comes in, rookie development camp, rookie faceoff tourney, NHL preseason, not rookie, NHL preseason. Scores a goal in his very first preseason game against the Kings, records an assist the very next night. And then ultimately, you know, they send him back to Edmonton because you're not going to put a kid that good on a team this bad. You don't want to destroy his psyche. Everybody would love to see him. Maybe we'll see him for 8 games later, you know, at the end of the year. But you don't do that. The right call, hands down, to make him develop and keep your eye on that kid. Shameless plug. I actually just wrote an article that dropped yesterday about it. So about him. So check it out because it's kind of following his progress throughout Edmonton and good stuff. So that is our show. Thank you so much for watching. Kristy, cannot thank you enough. I know we have a bunch of shows and really appreciate you joining. Always good to have you on. Don't forget at home, subscribe, comment, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to the Morning Skate newsletter. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Cheers.